Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my reading plans for the month of September. Y'all know August was a really wild reading month for me. I participated in the amazing readathon and read more books than I think I've ever read before in a month. I feel like most of what I did was read in the month. So looking forward to September being a little more chill. I've got some travel planned in September. Kids are going back to school. It's gonna be fall. I do have some things that I definitely want to read and some things I'm gonna try to get to, but I am for sure not going to put a lot of pressure on myself because I need a month of just mostly reading what I feel like reading. Thankfully, this is a month where I don't have too many required reads. I have a lot of stuff that if I need to put it off, I can. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that are on my TBR that I may get to. This does include participating in Space Opera September. I took a look at some of the prompts for it and it just looks like a lot of fun. So I did come up with a TBR that meets those prompts. I don't know that I will complete it, but we'll see. We'll see how the month goes, and if I'm in the mood for it, I may. But if you are interested, go check out the people who are co-hosting it. Rachel from Shades of Orange is fantastic, and she's one of the co-hosts. So I will have her channel linked down below if you want to go and find out more information. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about the books that are on my TBR. I will start with the things that I'm definitely reading for read-alongs and book clubs, and then I'll tell you some of the things that are in my pile of possibilities for September. But again, I'm not going to push myself too hard because I did all the reading in August. First up, Patreon and member book club. Every month, some of my patrons have the chance to vote on a book that we're going to read together and discuss at the end of the month, and we do a different theme every month. So in September, it was classic science fiction, and I'm using the term classic a little bit loosely. Some of it might be more vintage than classic, but it's fine. The book that we are reading for that is Wild Seed by Octavia Butler, which is very exciting. I never have a bad time reading Octavia Butler. I love her books, and I have not started this series yet, so I'm looking forward to it. In an epic story of love and hate, two immortals chase each other across continents and centuries, binding their fates together and changing the destiny of the human race. I hear it's weird. A lot of her books have weird elements to them, but I'm really looking forward to this. So we'll be reading Wild Seed for book club. Editing Bethany here. So I totally forgot about the book that I am vlogging for my patrons in September. Is it because I'm trying to like chill out for the month? Possibly. But I am also supposed to be reading The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I've heard mixed things about this. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's the start of a new series by him. So I'm going to pick up the audiobook and I'll do a reading vlog every month. Some of my higher tier patrons get the chance to suggest and vote on books that they want to see me do exclusive vlogs for. And all of my patrons and channel members at like $5 a month and above get access to those videos. So The Book That Wouldn't Burn will be the one for this month. We'll see how it goes. It should be interesting. Then continuing with the Circle of Magic read-along, we are going to be reading Street Magic by Tamara Pierce. This is book 2 in the Circle Open series, which is the second quartet with each book following an individual character. This one is following Briar. So we will be discussing this on my channel towards the end of the month, along with Ashley from Bookish Realm, Brie from Locked Booktician, Shay from Shay Geeks Out, and Kara from The Wild Book Garden. It's always a fun time. Lastly is a maybe. I'm still waiting to see if I can hammer out details. I wanted to start a read-along in September of the Tawny Man Trilogy by Robin Hobb, starting with Fool's Errand. Life gets in the way sometimes for people, and so I'm not 100% sure if I have a co-host for it. So stay tuned. I do want to at least read this first book myself this year, but whether or not we're going to do a read-along kind of depends. I don't know that I want to do it by myself. So if you are somebody who is a creator interested in reading these and you want to co-host, feel free to reach out to me and we'll see. TBD. Update. This readathon is in fact happening, and we are going to have a live show for Fool's Errand on the first Friday night of October. So I think that's like October 6th in the evening. Offer still stands though if anybody wants to join in. I have one co-host, Jade from Bedtime Bookworm, is going to be joining me, which will be fun. But if there's anybody else who also wants to join us and discuss these books, hit me up. Next, let's talk about my TBR for SciFi September. First up, for my mode of transport, I chose Warp Drive, which means I'm putting 4 books on my TBR for the month. Step 2 is to accept your mission. I'm going to be engaging in diplomacy to solve an intergalactic war. And in order to do that, I will be reading Symbiosis by Nikki Drayden. This is the sequel to Escaping Exodus, which I really loved. It's super weird, has horror elements and interesting ideas in science fiction, and I think this is the concluding volume of the duology, but I'm not 100% certain. Either way, I really enjoyed book 1 and I want to read book 2. Our haunted ring light is back. Then we have an unplanned event. I'm boarded by the feds who want me to do lots of paperwork. And the way I'm gonna get through that is by reading Raven's Stratagem by Yoon-Ha Lee. I really loved Nine Fox Gambit when I read it last year, and I've been meaning to continue on with the trilogy, and so this seemed like a great opportunity. So we're gonna be reading that, hopefully. Finally, my book choice for the epilogue is A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. This is continuing on in a series. I have all of them, and I've only read the first one, which I loved. I always loved Becky Chambers, and I want to continue the series. Of course, because I chose Warp Drive, I need 4 books on the TBR. I'm also adding on Revenant Gun by Yoon-Ha Lee so that I can maybe finish up that trilogy. So we'll see. That is my Space Opera September TBR. I'm kind of casually doing it because it seems like fun, and these are books that I've been wanting to read, but I'm not 100% sure I'll finish all of them. We'll see how it goes. Next, let's take a look at some of the advanced reader copies that I have for review that I might pick up this month. First up, we have You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This I got at an event I was invited to, and it looks really cute. It comes out September 12th, and it is a gender-swapped retelling of When Harry Met Sally, modernized and updated. It's a rom-com. I think this sounds really cute, and I am excited to try it out, so I do like When Harry Met Sally. If you're a fan, this might be a fun one. The event was also really cool because we got to see a screening of When Harry Met Sally in a theater, which I had never done before, and that was a cool experience. I also have The Odds by Lindsay Puckett, and this one goes on sale September 19th. I think I'm going to try to get to it this month. It is a middle grade book coming out from Scholastic, and I do know the author casually. Thank you so much to her for reaching out to me about this. I liked her first book, and this is her second middle grade book. It's a story about children with chronic pain, and it's written because of Lindsay's own experience growing up with chronic pain, but it's like a paranormal tale that sounds cute. It's about Begonia, who was abandoned at a retirement home when she was a baby. You might think that's the worst thing that could happen to someone, but for Bug, the worst is yet to come. You see, Swamproot Manor isn't just any old house. It's alive. It's haunted. And everyone in it is a little bit odd. Like, they have magical abilities, kind of. Everyone except Begonia. While she's waiting for her oddity to arrive, the manor is running out of money, thanks in no small part to all of Bug's hospital bills. Begonia can't let Swamproot close. If she could just tap into her oddity, she could use its power to save the manor and all 52 of her grandparents. But she's only days away from her 11th birthday, and if she doesn't get her oddity by then, it will never come. She'll be removed from her home and sent to the normal world. Her memory will be wiped and her family will be gone. So Bug has to do the unthinkable. Join forces with the most annoying boy in the world to track down their oddities. This sounds really cute, and thank you to Lindsay for sending me a copy, so if I can pick it up this month, I'm going to try to. Then I've got a few books coming out in October. I don't know that I will get to all of these this month, but I may get to some of them, and some of them might get rolled over. We'll see. I've got Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. This is her latest book, and it is a gothic novel, which I'm kind of a sucker for. Alex E. Harrow is a very hit and miss author for me. When I love her books, I really love them, and when I don't like them, I really don't like them. So I'm hoping this one will be a hit. I think the cover looks cool, the premise sounds interesting. We'll see. It is set in Kentucky in a dying bad luck town known only for the legend of E. Starling, the reclusive 19th century author and illustrator who wrote The Underland and disappeared. Before she vanished, Starling House appeared, but everyone agrees it's best to let that uncanny house and its last lonely heir, Arthur Starling, go to rot. Opal knows better than to mess with haunted houses or brooding men, but an unexpected job offer might be a chance to get her brother out of Eden. Too quickly, though, Starling House starts to feel dangerously like something she's never had. A home. Yeah, small town haunted by secrets that can't stay buried in a sinister house that sits at the crossroads of it all. It sounds good. I'm hoping it will be. We'll see. I also have Beholder by Ryan LaSala. I have really enjoyed both of LaSala's previous books, and this is his third YA kind of paranormal horror book. No one survived the party at the penthouse except Athen. It follows this teenager who is, I think, like closeted and has survived by trying to kind of hide in the background. But when he goes to this fancy soiree in New York City, because he's in the bathroom, he is the only one left alive when everyone else is ritually murdered. And so he, of course, is a suspect. He's trying to figure out what's going on. There's also like weird mirror magic stuff. So I don't know. I'm excited to try it out. The cover is pretty cool. Also coming out in October is Queen by Vichette Chum. This, it says, is a stirring, joyful YA debut about a queer Cambodian American teen's journey to find her voice and step into her legacy, following a girl who has become a viral MC on social media, but her dad was recently deported to Cambodia, and so she's got a lot of stuff she's dealing with. It's supposed to be funny and heartwarming and sounds great. And then finally, I've got The Gin Bot of Shantiport by Samit Basu. Look at that cover. I love the cover. It looks so cool. It says it's an exuberant new sci-fi adventure with heart that reads like a mashup of Aladdin and Murderbot with gloriously chaotic results. I'm in. It sounds good. Thank you to Tor.com for that one. So yeah, those are the physical advanced copies that I've got. I also, just because I want to read a book that I recently picked up, The Ruins by Phoebe Wynn. I know not everybody did, but I really enjoyed her first book, Madam, which was like an over-the-top kind of gothic story. I told you I'm a sucker for a gothic novel. I really am. And so I want to try something else from her. This one is a summary gothic set on the Mediterranean coast, and there's like secrets at a chateau, and I don't know, I think it'll be fun, so I might read that. Lastly, let's take a look at some of the books on my NetGalley TBR that I have e-arcs for. Again, probably won't get to all of these, but we'll see how it goes. First, we have Find Him Where You Left Him Dead by Kristen Simmons. She's a YA author I've read from before and generally enjoy, and this sounded fun. It's her first horror novel. Is anybody going to be shocked that I'm like, ooh, gothic horror novel and YA, this sounds fun? 4 years ago, 5 kids started a game. Not all of them survived. Now, at the end of their senior year of high school, the survivors have reunited. They've been summoned by the ghost of Ian, the friend they left for dead. Together, they return to the place where their friendship ended with Ian to find him and bring him home, and they restart the deadly game that they never finished. Sounds very exciting. I love it. We'll see. I also have A Nobleman's Guide to Seducing a Scoundrel, which is the second book in a historical romance series. I loved the first one. It was so entertaining, and this is another queer romance set in the same town, I think following some side characters, so looking forward to that. I also have Octavia Butler, The Last Interview, which has a collection of interviews and essays from her. Sounds good. And hey, we're reading Wild Seed this month, so that could be a good time to read it. Here are a few books that I didn't get to in August that I may get to in September. Godkiller, Witch of the Wild Things, Monstrous, and The Meadows. You saw both of those in my last month's TBR, but I didn't get around to them, so we'll see what happens. I also have some October releases that, again, we'll see. We've got What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. This sounds really fun. It's being pitched as The Mummy meets Death on the Nile in an immersive historical fantasy set in Egypt filled with adventure, rivals to lovers romance, and a dangerous race? Yes. Sounds good. The Night Hunt by Alexandra Christo. I don't even remember what this is about, but I've enjoyed some of her other stuff, and it sounded cool. Let's see. A dark fantasy romance about a monstrous girl who feeds on fear and the gods' cursed boy who falls in love with her. I mean, of course I wanted to read it. It sounds like fun. This is the kind of thing that I will go for if I've read from the author before, and I think I have a shot at enjoying it, because sometimes if it's new authors, it's so hit and miss. But I'm hoping, because I've enjoyed her books before, maybe this will be a good one. We'll see. I've got Just a Pinch of Magic by Alicia Dow. This is her first middle grade novel, and it looks adorable. Winnie's family of enchanters runs a little bakery, but with the prices of magical ingredients skyrocketing, they're going under. Desperate to save her family's business, Winnie takes a risk by casting a sort of illegal spell that would allow them to gather their own supply of their most needed magical ingredient, love. But the spell doesn't work, and it backfired, and the town is in danger, and she's got to figure out what's going on. So this sounds super cute. Of course it's a baking story. It should be. If you don't follow Alicia Dow on Instagram, she like makes the most incredibly delicious looking baked goods, And you know, it's too bad that she doesn't live in New York City. Otherwise, I'd be like, hey, have some of those because they look really good. Yeah, but she's really good at that. We also have Belle in the Fog by Lev A.C. Rosen. This is the second book in a series. I read book one last year and I loved it. This is a queer historical murder mystery series following a gay former cop who was in the closet, now turned private investigator. I don't really know what the mystery in this book is, but I thought the first one was fantastic and I'm excited to continue with the series. And then finally, we have People to Follow by Olivia Worley. This is a YA debut where 10 teen influencers come to a remote island to star in a reality show. But when one of them winds up dead, they realize this time the price of being canceled could be their lives. It sounds fun. I'm here for that. So those are the pile of possible books that I may read this month. Again, I am going to try to take it a little bit easy on myself just because I feel like this month I burnt out a little bit, not entirely. The last few days I've been purposefully pivoting to just read the books that I'm actually excited to read in the moment and like hope they fit the prompts because it was a lot. It was too much. So September, we're going to take it a little bit slower. We'll see how things go, and hopefully we'll find some good new books. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. And for your question of the day, let me know, what are you excited about for fall? I love fall. I think fall might be my favorite season, to be honest, and I am so ready for it. Also, I'm taking a trip in September to see some BookTube friends IRL, and I'm so excited about it. I just think it's going to be a fantastic month. So talk to me in the comments down below. If you like this video, it always helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.